Welcome back to my channel Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. She watched the headlines break like a storm. The world was obsessed. Two of Hollywood's brightest stars, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, had just tied the knot. Cameras flashed, hearts fluttered. But somewhere, behind the velvet curtains of fame, Gwyneth Paltrow sat in silence. Her name wasn't in the headlines that day, but her heart was. It's easy to forget that before Brad and Jen, there was Brad and Gwyneth. They were young, golden, and in love. The world saw them as perfect. But perfection is a fragile thing. It shatters quietly, leaving behind pieces that never quite fit together again. Gwyneth and Brad met in the mid-90s. Their chemistry was electric. It's undeniable. They laughed together, dreamed together. For a moment, it seemed like nothing could break them. Brad called her the love of his life. Gwyneth called him her son. But love, in Hollywood, is a dangerous game. Fame magnifies every flaw. Pressure builds, and sometimes love isn't enough. Their engagement was called off, the world speculated. Gwyneth later admitted she wasn't ready, was too young, too lost, too afraid. She carried the weight of regret, quietly, as Brad moved on. The cameras followed him everywhere. And then he met Jennifer. The world fell. In love with Brad and Jen, they were America's sweethearts. Their wedding was a fairy tale. But for Gwyneth, it was a different story. She watched from afar, her own heart still healing. She smiled for the cameras, but inside, she wondered what could have been. Did she make the right choice? Did she let go of something rare? Gwyneth never spoke publicly about Brad's marriage. To Jennifer? Not really. She kept her pain private, her feelings hidden behind a mask of grace. But those close to her knew. Kay saw the flicker of sadness in her eyes. It's the quiet moments of reflection. It's the questions that never found answers. Years passed. Gwyneth found love again. She built a family, a career, a life of her own. She became a mother, welcoming her children into a world she hoped would be gentler than the one she had known. She poured herself into her work, her passions, her dreams. She created Goop, a brand that would become both her shield and her voice. She learned to stand on her own, to define herself not by the men she had loved, but by the woman she was becoming. But the past has a way of lingering. It waits in the quiet moments, in the spaces between laughter and sleep. Sometimes, late at night, she would remember the laughter she once shared with Brad, the dreams they whispered in the dark. The love that almost was, but never quite found its forever. She would close her eyes and let the memories wash over her sweet, sharp and bittersweet all at once. She learned to forgive herself, to let go of the guilt, the regret, the questions that haunted her. She learned that youth is often reckless, that hearts can be fragile, and that sometimes you only understand love after it's gone. She learned to wish Brad and Jennifer happiness, even if it stung. Even if a small part of her wondered what. Might have been, had life taken a different turn? In rare interviews, Gwyneth spoke of Brad with warmth. She called him a friend. She said she was grateful for their time together, for the lessons learned, for the memories made. She spoke with grace, never bitterness. She even laughed about their past, showing the world that she had moved on, that she had found peace. But beneath the surface, there was always a trace of longing, a sense of unfinished business, the kind of ache that never fully disappears, no matter how much time passes. There were moments when the world would ask her about Brad, about Jennifer, about the love triangle that had once captivated Hollywood. Gwyneth would smile, answer politely, and change the subject. She knew that some stories are too personal, too sacred to be shared with the world. She knew that the real pain, the real healing, happened far from the cameras and the headlines. When Brad and Jennifer's marriage ended, the world watched again. The headlines screamed. The rumors swirled. Hearts broke for Jennifer. The media speculated about Brad's choices, about Angelina, about the love triangle that would dominate tabloids for years. But Gwyneth stayed silent. She had learned that some stories are best left untold. Some wounds are best left to heal in the quiet. She watched as Brad and Jennifer navigated their own heartbreak, their own public scrutiny. She understood the pain of loving in the spotlight, of losing in front of millions. She felt empathy, not envy. Compassion, not competition. She knew that every love story is complicated, that every ending is a lesson today. Gwyneth Paltrow stands as a woman transformed. She has faced heartbreak, regret, and loss. She has learned to find beauty in the broken places. She knows that love is never simple, that every ending is also a beginning, and that sometimes the greatest strength is letting go. She has spoken about forgiveness, about healing, about the importance of moving forward, even when the past calls us back. She has built a life that is hers alone, defined not by who she once loved, but by who she has become. For Gwyneth, forgiveness was not a single moment. It was a journey, a slow, sometimes painful process of letting go. She forgave herself for the choices she made when she was young and uncertain. She forgave Brad for moving on, for finding happiness with someone else. She forgave the world for watching, for judging, for never letting her story rest. Forgiveness, for her, was freedom. It was the key that unlocked the door to her own future. Healing came in waves. Some days it felt like the sun was shining just for her. Other days, the shadows of the past crept in uninvited. But Gwyneth learned to welcome those shadows, to sit with them, to understand them. She learned that healing is not about erasing the past, but about making peace with it, about understanding that every heartbreak, every regret, every tear is a part of the story that makes us whole. She has spoken about the importance of moving forward, even when the past calls us back. There were moments when memories would surface unexpected, sharp, and vivid. A song on the radio, a familiar scent, a photograph from another time. The past would whisper to her, tempting her to look back, to wonder, to ache. But Gwyneth chose to keep walking. She chose to build a life that was hers, not defined by old love, but by new dreams. She has built a life that is hers alone, defined not by who she once loved, but by who she has become. She is a mother, an entrepreneur, an actress, a friend. She is a woman who has learned to stand on her own, to find joy in her own company. To celebrate her own victories, she has created a world for herself and her children that is filled with laughter, with hope, with possibility. Her reaction to Brad's marriage to Jennifer was never about jealousy or bitterness. It was about acceptance, about growing up, about understanding that life moves forward, even when our hearts want to stay behind. She wished them well, quietly, sincerely. She hoped they would find the happiness she once dreamed of with Brad. And when their marriage ended, she wished them peace. Acceptance is not easy. It is not passive. It is an act of courage. It means letting go of what could have been and embracing what is. It means choosing to see the beauty in the present, even when the past still tugs at your heart. Gwyneth accepted that her story with Brad was over. She accepted that Jennifer was a part of his journey, just as she had been. She accepted that love changes, that people change, that life is always moving forward. She hoped Brad and Jennifer would find the happiness she once dreamed of with Brad. She watched from afar as their love story unfolded in the public eye. She saw the joy, the laughter, the moments of tenderness. And when their marriage ended, she felt a quiet sadness not for herself, but for the loss of something beautiful. She wished them peace, knowing how hard it is to say goodbye, especially when the world is watching. Gwyneth's story is not just about love lost. It's about resilience, about finding peace with the past, about embracing the future, no matter how uncertain it may be. She has shown us that it's possible to love, to lose, and to live again. That it's okay to remember, to feel, to hope. Resilience is the thread that runs through her story. It is the strength to get up after every fall, the courage to open your heart again, even when it's been broken. The wisdom to know that every ending is also a beginning. Gwyneth has faced heartbreak, regret, and loss. But she has also found joy, love, and purpose. She has learned to trust herself, to believe in her own worth, to create a life that is rich and full. She has taught us that every heart has scars, that every scar tells a story. Not sometimes. The most beautiful stories are the ones that never make the headlines. The stories of quiet strength, of silent courage, of hope that refuses to die. If you look closely, you can see the strength in her eyes, the wisdom in her words, the quiet courage it takes to move forward, to forgive, to love again. Gwyneth Paltrow's journey is a reminder that we are all human, so that we all carry the weight of our choices, our regrets, our dreams. Maybe you've loved and lost. Maybe you've wondered what might have been. Maybe you've watched someone you once loved find happiness with someone else. If so, you are not alone. Gwyneth's story is your story, too. Story of heartbreak, healing, and hope. We all have moments when the past calls us back, when we wonder if we made the right choices, when we wish we could go back and do things differently. A life only moves in one direction forward. The only way to find peace is to accept, to forgive, to let go. Gwyneth's journey is a testament to the power of resilience, to the beauty of starting over, to the hope that lives in every new day. She has shown us that it's possible to find happiness even after heartbreak, that it's possible to build a life that is yours even when the world is watching. If you felt the weight of this story, if you've ever loved and lost or wondered what might have been, let us know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to Salibus, and share your thoughts below, because every heart has a story, and every story deserves to be heard.